We are back here with Chris Broussard. We're going viral. LeBron James passed Michael Jordan last night for 4th place on the NBA all-time scoring list. He got a special message from his I Promise school students. Nice. Take a listen to this.
Hi, Mr. LeBron. My name is Ray Mill, and congratulations for the 4th NBA scoring list and passing Michael Jordan. Have a good day.
Hi, Mr. LeBron. I would like to congratulate you for passing the scoring in 4th place and passing Michael Jordan.
Congrats, Mr. LeBron, for scoring in 4th place and passing Michael Jordan. By the way, this is Xavier, one of your ambassadors.
Some of these kids should offer up their services to coach up Antonio Brown on his cameo messages.
The kids got a couple notes. One Michael Jordan, one the number 4. And they were going to put together their message no matter what. But that was really sweet. It was very nice to see. Speaking of the Lakers, who are in the midst of losing their 4th game in a row and missing the playoffs entirely, Rajon Rondo, who's had a frustrating stretch recently, was seen sitting in a courtside seat away from the Lakers bench. Surprisingly, or should we say not surprisingly, neither Luke Walton nor any of his teammates brought him back to where the team actually sits. Broussard, what do you make of this? Optics.
Well, this was worse. Everybody made a big deal out of LeBron being, 3 seats over from his teammates. This was much worse in reality and optically. Like, it just shows Rondo's disconnecting, and he's just fed up with the circus. Because Rondo's a no-nonsense type guy. And his name was in those
during the season, or did it when he signed him, like it was?
No, he's always been that way.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think he expected this type of circus, and I think he's just fed up with it. And look, Mark Jackson was on the broadcast, and rightly so, saying, look, Luke or somebody's got to go get him. If Luke had gone over there and tried to get him, it may have gotten ugly.
Yeah, Mark Jackson, that's the wrong advice.
It may have gotten. Now if he has a relationship with a Brian Shaw, maybe you go over there, but
when a grown man decides to, when he is on the job, do something that is totally different than what they would normally do, I have learned this through experience. You need to let that grown man work out his situation. So him trying to give the advice that, someone on his team should go over there and make him, he's sitting over there for a reason. It's just like this. When you call someone and you leave a message and then you happen to see him be like, hey, I left you a message. There's a reason why they didn't call you back, Chris, because they didn't want to talk to you. He didn't want to talk to anyone on the bench, didn't want to talk to the players, didn't want to talk to the coaches. Now, it might be a bad look optically, but who was he harming there? Who was he harming? What was he harming there?
It just speaks volumes. And I agree. Look, he's gone at Rick Carlisle, Doc Rivers, and George Karl. 3 really strong-minded coaches. He definitely would have won at Luke Walton.
No, and if Luke was going to try to stop this from happening, he should have tried to stop it from happening one of the other half dozen times it happened earlier this season. The day LeBron, the Pacers lost, is the day LeBron was 3 seats down from everybody. Rondo did the same damn thing.
Not quite as right.
Now, Rondo said after the game listen, I go to where there's the open seat. He's like, I've done this through my career. He said, you guys haven't seen it as much in Los Angeles this year because our home games, those seats are never empty. He said those people stay. Now, maybe that's Rondo just creating a justification. But if your team is good and your team is competing for the playoffs and in the playoffs, I believe Rajon Rondo is an asset. I think he's an asset in a lot of ways. If your season has gone sideways, Rajon Rondo is not a guy you want there. We know this. Like, this is who he has been in this stage of his career. The issue with Rondo and the Lakers is, Tom Haberstroh pointed this out, so I looked it up with Dusty, and it's correct. LeBron plus any player has been a positive. LeBron plus Kuz, LeBron plus Hart, LeBron plus Lonzo in 2-man lineups, except for LeBron plus Rondo. That combination has not worked out on the court at all. That, to go along with the injuries, to go along with the way they built the team, to go along with the coaching, is a big part of why this season is a lost season. Not because Rondo's being a bit of a prima donna, if you want to call it that, and sitting away from everybody. And I agree with you entirely that Mark Jackson's advice, that could have been a bad scene, man. Like, Rondo is not, he doesn't have much back down in him for good or for bad. And I don't think he would have responded. What's Luke Walton going to do? Grab him, like, tug him on his
And I know for certain Mark Jackson didn't know that he had done it a half dozen other times. Anytime you're trying to put together a roster like this, where you're waiting, oh man, we can only got a few guys for a few spots so we can keep open next year so we can get another max deal, this is what you end up buying.
We talk about how much LeBron's antics, or the things that he does affects the younger guys on the team. Did this have any effect on the young guys, just to show?
Well, let's just blame everything on LeBron.
I mean,
you answered the question. She was saying, does what Rondo did affect?
This is what we say for other players, excuse me, all right? We always say that, man, these young guys, they ain't playing. Lonzo ain't playing. Like, he was supposed to be there being a backup. When you have Rondo in the last 4 years, 4 months, and a few days, he's played on 6 teams. All right? And this is not the first time we have seen this. The head coach, Rick Carlisle, told him to call a play. Rondo waved him off, told him F that.
I'm
took
an 8-second violation.
Yeah, I'll call the on play. So this is not surprising to me. You didn't bring Rondo in there to have a negative impact, because he shows up to work, he plays hard, and he's a no-nonsense guy. So the young players, there's so many good attributes of Rondo that they are supposed to get from this. Normal human beings know not to go sit down in the front row in the expensive seats.
Right. No, I don't think Rondo's a problem. I mean, I think that he's a leader in that locker room. Like, even when he was in Chicago and they were losing, the young guys are drawn to him. He's a very intelligent player. I don't think he's a problem at all. I think this is not a cause of something, but more of an effect. This just is emblematic of the disconnect with this team. And to your question, Jenna, I don't really think it can get any worse. I really don't. Like, I think the AD trade saga so sapped this team emotionally and spiritually that's why they're done. Like, we talk about the young guys, Kuzma and Ingram, their numbers since the deadline. Oh, they're playing well. Well, offensively they are. Because no matter how upset I am, I want to get my numbers.
Oh, no,
right. I want to score. But it's defense.
The team defense as a whole, like LeBron's been catching all the hell for it, but the team defense with him, LeBron on the court, has been really bad. With him off the court, has been a tire fire.
But here's why. Because trust, camaraderie, chemistry is a part of defense.
And effort.
And early in the season, they were all in on LeBron. So they're willing to cover up for him and know he's not going to hustle as much because he's older and he's got to carry the offense. Now, after the AD stuff, they're not willing to cover up. Right. So that's why the trust is gone and the defense is falling apart.
And to an element, you could make the argument one of the reasons that the younger guys' offensive numbers are up is because we talk about this all the time. When star offensive players, when Harden a few years ago was catching hell for terrible defense, it's like, well, he's expending all his energy on the offensive end. There might have been earlier in the season when the younger players' numbers weren't as good, they were expending more energy on defense. And so on offense, they weren't as efficient. Now, if everyone's just basically on a give up on defense, then you should be at least marginally better on the offensive end.
All right, Chris, see you a bit later on in the show. Take a break. Coming up, Lincoln Riley defends Kyler Murray next on First Things First.
Come on, Chris, when you was playing, you had your Jerry curl.